Hey, everybody. We back again.
We're back again.
There it is. I'm Spencer. And of course, that's our licensed clinical therapist, Naz.
What a fool.
All right. And this is the Different Spectrums podcast. We talk about movies and shows and also the mental health around those movies and shows.
We get time.
Yeah. We also try to laugh. So, haha, So don't take us too seriously, or you will try to cancel us. Please don't do that. We appreciate that. Thank you. Also, don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. Also, subscribe down below. Down below, right there, where he's pointing. Yep. Naz, do you want to get into the donations / the website real quick?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
Don't you know? So
I thought you were doing another accent for a second.
Oh, yeah, no. I thought about it. I'm not going to do that. So we got a website now, people. It is quite magnificent. Differentspectrumspod.com. You can check out the bios, information. You can catch the pods right on there as well. And we got a shop. Merchandise, sweaters, cups, stickers,
really
other stuff.
Yep.
Botanical gardens. I just said a word.
All right.
Yep. We got a lot of stuff. So go in there and check it out. We got colors. We got spectrums. It's all this stuff. Go check it out.
Colors and spectrums. You're an idiot.
We got the different spectrums of the colors of the Pentagon.
Okay, you know what? We're gonna let him shut up for a second, and
this is why you never give me the reins.
I know, especially selling your own shit. That's the fucking funny thing. You can't even sell your own things. You're like, we got all the things, and remember this, and remember that. No, I don't.
We got ducks, rubber ducks.
Oh my god! All right, so today we're gonna be taking a look at a scene from Ratatouille. Ratatouille, yes.
Ratatouille. Fan requested.
Yes. So
like 6 months ago.
Oh my god. All right. In this scene, Remy is teaching his brother Emile about how to expand his mind and views when it comes to eating food. Yes. Remy is also trying to explain what he sees and feels to his brother that doesn't really share the same perspective as him. So as soon as he starts to eat something, he sees different colors, listens to kind of hears different music in his head, as we'll see in this scene. But then for some topics that we're going to be covering today, we're going to be talking about synesthesia. Different sensitivities, difference in pain, metabolism, temperature, all that fun stuff, and of course overstimulation, which we are masters at making people be overstimulated.
Pay attention to me.
Anybody who is on the spectrum and has some type of just gets oversensitized,
yep.
We're like, how do we get this to happen?
It's like instantly unlimited power.
Unlimited power.
And you can just see our friends melt away into puddles.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah. I know. Dom is gonna be hilarious on the road trip because she's gonna be so overstimulated. I just told her, I was like, you know what, just put some headphones in, you'll be fine.
You'll make it.
Yeah.
You didn't die, did you?
Through. No, you almost did, but
true.
Thank God we're not taking the navigator through there. Oh my God.
May she rest in peace.
And no, I hope she burns. Almost died.
Jesus.
3 times on the road trip.
Am I down there?
Oh, geez.
Let's get to the scene.
Yeah, let's just get into it.
Let's get right into it. You already talked about everything. Yeah.
Don't even tell you.
Follow the shop, people. It's quite wonderful. It's magnificent. Got all the stuff. I don't know what the stuff is, but we got the stuff. I'll link it below.
Just go to the scene, for God's sakes. Don't even whoop. Don't even do it. No.
They don't just survive, they discover, they create. I mean, just look at what they do with food.
How can I describe it? Good food is like music you can taste, color you can smell. There is excellence all around you. You need only be aware to stop and savor it.
Oh, Gusteau was right. Oh, yeah. Oh, amazing. Each flavor was totally unique. But combine one flavor with another, and something new was created. I brought you something to... Ah! No! Spit that out right now! Oh, I have got to teach you about food. Close your eyes. Now, take a bite of this. No! Don't just hork it down.
Too late.
Here. Chew it slowly. Only think about the taste. See?
Not really.
Creamy, salty, sweet, and oaky nuttiness. You detect that?
Oh, I'm detecting nuttiness.
Close your eyes. Now taste this. Whole different thing, right? Sweet, crisp, slight tang on the finish.
Okay.
Now, try them together.
Okay. I think I'm getting a little something there. It might be the nuttiness.
See?
Could be the tang.
That's it. Now, imagine every great taste in the world being combined into infinite combinations, tastes that no one has tried yet, discoveries to be made.
I think. You lost me again.
Yeah.
But that was interesting. Most interesting garbage there.
All right. And we're back again. Yep. So we just watched a scene, two scenes, where Remy is trying out these different foods, and he's getting more cultured in the way of humans. And so he's trying these foods, and he's seeing different colors and hearing different, music and things like that. It's all different sensory things. And then the next scene, it's pretty much the same thing, but he's trying to get his brother to see the same way, and he does not. He's like, I just want some trash.
Yeah, he's a simpleton.
It's a little bit. He kind of goes with the flow a little too much. But yeah, so we checked out those scenes. So now, as you mentioned, that this was a fan request.
Yep.
What kind of made you want to do the scene in general?
So work with a human, and they requested this, long time ago. Well, technically, they brought it up long time ago when I was first diagnosing them. Older individual, like in their 30s. Oh shit, they'll probably kill me for that. So I think maybe late 20s. Jesus. And they said, "Hey,
you old bitch."
Jesus Christ. They were like, we were going through the screeners that we do for neurodivergence and all that, and like synesthesia, wait, the tasting and smelling and all this stuff. Like this is me. The different perceptions and words and different colors and letters, this and this. I'm like, you got dyslexia. Nope. I see things and feel things different than others. I'm like, okay. I remember this individual fought me on the autism stuff, still does to this day. They're like, I don't know if it's really a thing. I'm like, what other data do you need? I also diagnosed your whole family, so
I think you got it.
I think you got autism. Yep. And so they brought it up, and then eventually, the pod started taking off, and they said, "Hey, do it on that one clip I showed you." I'm like, "You never showed me a fucking clip. I sent it to you." I never looked at it. I did. I just know that they're gonna watch this and then be so mad.
Motherfucker.
Fuck this guy.
Oh my God.
Still want to get that money coming in though.
Hey.
You never fix them too good, but they keep coming back.
Oh my God. He's joking, folks. He's joking. Guess not. Never mind.
No. And so they said, we're going to do this Ratatouille thing. I was like, okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Very cute scene. And obviously this is a metaphor. So we'll try to put this in the reels, right? This is an example, a metaphor. But this is the experience of a lot of folks that are neurodivergent. Different senses, different things triggering other things. There's certain neurons that are placed in different places where they shouldn't be, and these ones where they should. Who knows what causes it? But
Right.
it's a neurochemical response that shoots off and triggers things. And so I think it's quite wonderful, quite fabulous. They said most people don't want to get rid of this. They actually quite enjoy it. It could make memory better in some instances.
Okay.
So I think you brought something up just a second ago about one of the food critics there. He said he was getting.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So for Anton Ego, he's a harsh critic, but at the end of the movie, Remy makes him his favorite dish, Ratatouille. And as soon as he eats it, it reminds him of a time where his mom would make it like a comfort food, pretty much. And he, like, as soon as he ate it, it felt like he was like the little kid again, eating his mom's Ratatouille. So
There you go.
that was pretty much it. I mean, different thing. It's not really him seeing
No.
colors or anything like that. It's more of it just like a memory, right?
Yep. It's a memory where the little dude, it's more about a sensation. It's more about this experience of fireworks, of his neurons exploding.
Right.
That neural kind of freak out or synapse explosion, that can be seen when people different. But that can be seen, that dopamine effect, when people are playing instruments, listening to music, exercising, right? It's that rush of things. I have a lot of clients that experience synesthesia in different ways. My folks that are very empathic. I think you were reading it. I accidentally sent you the wrong article about mirror synesthesia. And so when someone, right, gets touched on their hand or something like that, you can feel it. Or it's like when you see someone get kicked in the nads and you're like, oh,
fair enough. Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of an empathy thing. Like, you almost feel that pain. And so with me, I have a lot of mirroring neurons. And so when I start to see pain, then I start to feel pain. Certain things for me, like the violin, when it gets to a certain pitch and level, like, I just like legit can't breathe anymore, and I just start crying. Like listening sometime. There's this Aretha Franklin video that I posted on Facebook the other day, where she's singing opera. She's filling in for like this really famous dude. Forgot his name. Pavarotti. Yeah. And oh my God, literally, I'm just sobbing the other day. I'm like, well, I don't even know why I'm crying. It's so beautiful. So a lot of music can do that with me. Certain thoughts or visuals put me into a certain heightened state or emotion. But the color thing, not a thing.
Right.
When I think of humans, I get certain experiences or sensations. My body changes in certain ways where it gets relaxed or comfortable or like tense.
Right.
But my client was reporting more of like the visuals when it comes to words, letters, colors, tastes.
Right.
Like, okay, and I have other clients like that. And so, right, there's no treatment for this. It's not a thing that you're going to get treatment with. This is just a way you experience the world.
Right.
And I think that's where we're going to go with this today, is talk about autism and just experiencing the world in a different way. I don't want you to think about autism as this disabled disability where you can't do nothing and go nowhere. That's not what we do on this podcast. This podcast is talking about, mental health, movies, and then also putting some neurodivergent stuff in throughout it. And so we're using this differing of abilities, because a lot of us got a ton more neurons, so like me, and so we experience things in a different way. Sometimes we get overstimulated for certain things, right? I thought it was always weird that I was always laying on the floor. I like the grounding sensation of the floor. I thought it was weird that everywhere I go, I turn the lights off, and I don't like them. I don't like the lights on. And everyone's like, why are you sitting in the dark? I'm like, there's plenty of light in here. They're like, this is odd. I'm like, get your cell phone flashlight? Like, I feel like it's plenty of light in here.
It's light enough, all right?
It's like you can see my teeth. Like, it's fine.
Pitch black.
Yeah, I know. Draymond? That's a joke. Sorry, folks. So, and then there's like sound sensitivities that I have at times. Most of the time I'm really solid, but if it's a ton of different stuff at once, it kind of puts me on edge. If it's prolonged things, so prolonged, let's say music for a long extended period of time, now I'm just burned out. So like during my lifts, after like 30, 40 minutes, I'm like, I'm good now. It's also because it's on my ear and it's just a lot. So just always on my ear, in my ear. that's a sensation I don't really enjoy that much. So today we're going to talk about some stimulation things and synesthesia and how that kind of relates to that, this different experience, and then we're going to try and normalize that. Does that make sense, homie?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go right in for the kill right here, the funnies.
Jesus.
Your baby girl.
Yeah.
She got some sensitivities.
Yeah. She does.
She does.
She's a tough gal, but she got some things where better not do that shit. But
so I know she doesn't like the loud stuff when me and you are going at it, but then again, most people don't like that when me and you are going at it. Like we overstimulated Colin, and he's like a brick wall.
Yeah, because it's just relentless, honestly. We just keep on going. We just don't stop. And then we get louder and louder and louder.
Yeah. Listen, he starts chipping in and laughing, and then he's tooting. Yeah. So then it's the whole thing.
Yeah. And it just makes it even worse because we're just, Colin went on. He was like, why did you guys shut up?
What are we even talking about?
What are we even talking about?
Someone that's literally a brick wall, people, that is impenetrable for mental health. And then he's just, I'm going to kill you.
Hey, but you know what? Somehow we did it. So it's an achievement.
It's an achievement. We got him. Yeah, we terrorized him. I feel good about myself now. So.
Well, hey, what are you going to do?
Like the YouTube trolls on our page now.
Right. But yeah, she has more of like a sensitivity to like loud sounds. She usually has to wear like earbuds, not earbuds, earplugs.
Yep.
And especially if it's like really loud stuff. Because it's just too much. And then also she usually like has her headphones on and stuff when she's like trying to concentrate, do music, or like trying to do homework or anything, just to kind of stay concentrated, which I get because I do the same thing too.
So she likes a little bit of the stimulation, but it just can't be overstimulated. So it's like the perfect amount right in there.
Yeah, and especially like if we go out to like just like say we go out to like a bar or something and there's like loud music, it's too much.
Yep.
I kind of get overstimulated with like tons of people around.
Yep.
I don't like having tons of people. Like I'm usually okay if like people are bumping into me or something, but for the most part I just get annoyed and don't like it.
For me, it depends. Like when we went to that football game at the Lions and it was packed, like that was okay, but just for a short period of time, not a long period of time.
Yeah, no. But like once you're in like a club or something and it's just everybody piled in, I'm just hate that.
For a lot of folks, let's do a little pause right here. For a lot of my folks on the spectrum, the pub, you're in college, right? Or maybe you're in adulthood and the pub is the place where everyone goes. It's the normal college experience and you want to do it, and that's the thing to do because you want to be normal and make friends. And if you want to, okay, but no, it's going to drain your battery pretty quick.
Yeah.
Know that some of my clients are going to be pretty nauseous. I mean, I got a couple that are just like in the bathroom the whole time, either like hiding and crying, or like some of them pooping pretty hard.
You're just trying to find the word.
I would say the opposite of hard and pretty fast. Because anxiety and the nerves, and so it just overstimulates someone's nervous system, and then it's just they can't. So if you do get burned out of these things, or you like hanging out at your friend's place, but like a small gathering, get together, playing board games, video games, Mario Kart, all that stuff is cool. But now when you get to the pub, it's a different experience, and you could be freaking out because of many different things. Gender, it could be sexuality, it could be a racial thing. But specifically, it's loud, it's probably hot, and shit. For me, it's also overpriced. So there's a bunch of reasons why it may not be fit for you, but know that if you do go, it's going to take some out of you. And so the next day you're not going to be able to do much, or you shouldn't do much. That way you got brain space to recover Sunday, and then you can hit Monday fresh. Know that if you're going to hang out, Thursday, that, Friday's a little bit easier. You have to plan your schedule and to fit these overstimulating events. Because, I know some guest speakers, some badass speakers, and they'll do one of these events on the campuses. And they'd be like, yeah, how you feeling? They'd be like, I'm not going to talk for like 3 days. I'm like, Jesus. They're like, you being sarcastic? Like, no. My children and my husband know that I will not talk for 3 days.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty intense. Yeah.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just overstimulates them a lot, too much. And so they're gassed for 3 days. I'm like, okay. So that's them camouflaging. So me and you, we definitely get burned out in those situations. I think it heightens my anxiety for sure. For you, it might be just a little odd for you. And you're like,
Just annoying.
Why am I here? Yeah, it's why am I here? For me, I get anxious. I remember going to a pub at St. Mary's with some of the coaches, and they're like, what's wrong with you? Like, what are you talking about? Like, why you look like? I'm like, what do I look like? You're just watching everyone. I was like, yeah, because there's a bunch of fucking drunk people around us. I'm like one of 2 people that are of color, and it's all white folk. So like, I'm on edge.
It's a different, it's totally different also different for vibe. You, because you have to be on your toes, right? Like, that's how it is, man. Especially in Winona.
Yep.
You know,
it's different. So yeah, those sensitivities me and you got. Also, Spencer used to be a picky eater.
I'm a lot better now. Yeah. A lot better. I was so bad. Like, I was really bad as a kid. I was so bad. I was like, I'm not eating anything unless it's just this.
What was it? I swear to God, if you say chicken nuggets, I'm going to hit you in the head.
It wasn't chicken nuggets, probably like hamburgers and shit like that. Like, I never really ate. Like, my mom makes this thing called goulash, and just had it tonight, actually. And I used to not eat it at all because I was just like, it's not like corn dogs or hamburgers. It's all this shitty food I shouldn't have been eating that I liked. But then, I tried it one day and I was like, oh, okay, I like this. And then, of course, when I got to college, I wasn't eating at all because I was like, I just wasn't eating, and I was working out a lot. And I was hanging around you, and y'all would just talk shit. Be like, y'all ain't go, I remember Pops. He was like, I made all this food.
He made so much food.
He did make
the first Super Bowl he came over, he was like, literally mounds of food. I'm like, why did we make all this?
Like, how many people are coming? Jesus.
I know. You were like, are there more people coming? I was like, no, it's just you.
It's like, all right, fair enough. But yeah, man. Like, I honestly, when I only ate like cheese pizza, but then after like meeting you and like hanging out with you and stuff, I had to start eating like pepperoni pizza because that was all you got. And I was like, fuck it,
I guess I gotta eat meat, fucking protein.
I was like, oh shit, it's actually not that bad. But yeah, so I've gotten so much better, and now I make food, like just things like I would have never eaten before, like squid and all that fun stuff, and scallops and all that.
Oh yeah, I've seen you try a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was cool to bring that up too, because that's a sensitivity, is texture. So there's certain textures that I'm supposed to like because it's my culture, where it's like menudo. Wait a minute, menudo?
Menudo.
Yes, menudo. Yeah. So it's like this soupy thing with cow stomach is the meat in it, and it's like chewy. The soup itself is pretty good, but the chewy, gooey cow stomach particles, that.
It's gross.
But everyone's like, "Oh, you're not real Mexican." I'm like, yep, it's fine.
Fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's like one of our big dishes there. But there's certain things I don't like chewy things, man. I'm not the biggest fan of sweet things if I feel like it's supposed to be salty. Like if it's like pasta and stuff like that, and all of a sudden it's sweet, I'm like, what?
Yeah, certain like sweet sauces, I'm just like, get the fuck out of here. I don't want that.
I got a saltier palate. But I have a lot of students that have texture things. They have like certain OCDs or phobias about certain things, like yogurts. If it's got the little crusties on it, they freak out. I got some students where if they can't have their food touching in the plate, it can't be touching. And so, if the chicken nugget touches the ketchup, even though they were going to put the chicken nugget in the ketchup anyways, that chicken nugget is now contaminated.
Yeah, I had that when I was younger too. I didn't let anything like touch at all. And I started mixing stuff together, and I was like, oh, that's actually not that bad.
It's not bad. Yeah, when you start living with my dad, like it was always everything's mixed together. And then we're big boys, we just throw shit on top of shit. But it's a thing. So sensitivity to smell. So like they were talking about in the movie Ratatouille, he eats. And it's like this neuro divergence in their brain where they're seeing and feeling and hearing, and it's an explosion. And so depending on who you are, you may also feel that. I think, Spence, we were going to bring up like mindful eating. So technically we're supposed to eat where we're just eating and not watching like a show. We're supposed to chew like a bunch of times. I feel it's like 8 times or some shit, or 9 times.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm telling you, that's what you're supposed to do to digest it, taste it. I'm like, I literally swallow my food. I barely even chew it. Like it's in there. I like sometimes I'll bite my lip. I'm like,
yeah, you almost got
it. But it's a thing. Mindful eating. It's actually known to make people feel a lot better for digestion reasons, but also for mood, because you're actually tasting the food. I will let you know, if I pay for an expensive meal, I'll be tasting the shit out of it. If it's like a good steak or something like that, or you go out and it's, you know, it's something nice, or like we went to that place in Orlando and we got them burritos or them tacos at that place. That was crack.
Yeah, those burritos were amazing. Oh,
crack. Yes.
You go back there.
So my mouth is like legit watering right now. I'm so hungry. I hate this. Every time I talk about food, I'm like, so it can lead to a different experience. I think you were talking about where the dude said it reminds him of his mom.
Right.
So I'm sure you got some dishes that remind you of mom or like other family members.
Yeah. Like my mom's goulash, she makes that, and that's like her specialty. And so yeah, I probably couldn't even like make it myself because it just wouldn't be the same, you know?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like when somebody else makes it, or, you know, you try and make it yourself, it's just doesn't taste right or doesn't feel right, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, do you have a dish that, you know, kind of reminds you of like, you know, your like good times, comfort food that you're like,
if anyone makes some good Spanish rice, it'll remind me of mom's. Sadly, the smell of tequila will remind me of mom.
Jesus Christ.
Certain perfumes. She had a couple different perfumes that remind me of mom. My dad's a couple different perfumes that remind me always of him, mixed in with cigarettes. If I ever smell cigarette and cologne, I'm like, Dad?
Where is he?
I'll your crippled ass get out here.
Oh my God. Yeah, my dad, he had like this hair product that he always used. And anytime if I smell, I'm just like, where is he? Where's that fucker?
Where is he
at? Where is he?
Anytime I smell my mom's perfume somewhere, like in a store or something, I'll just like walk behind them, like, oh yes, my precious.
Dr. Nas. Calling Dr. Nas.
Yeah, professional.
Yes. Get back to it.
Get back to it. I think also with Pops, if we were talking about certain foods, I think a classic that I'll probably make legit until I die on Super Bowls is the nachos. Like that's always going to be a staple and legit until I can't move my body. Is to cooking that big ass plate of nachos.
Nachos. I love me some nachos.
I love some nachos. Nachos. He's got a bunch of different things that he cooks. I mean, these days it's like just straight baked chicken because we're trying to eat healthier. He's got a bunch of different types of mush that we make. That's pretty good. Where it's just a lot of things together. Mush. So he's some of the best mush I've ever eaten in my life. The prison meals, but they're good, man. They're fucking good.
Best prison meal you ever eat.
Yeah, meat, some rice, bunch of other stuff in it, crackers.
Jesus Christ.
Put some sauce in there.
What's happening in there? Why are bars on the windows?
Yeah, man, it's the mush, boy. He always used to say, "It's that good mush." I love it. I tore that shit up too. Yeah, I couldn't walk for a week. I was so bloated from all the sodium.
You ever try to make a mush better than this? Don't even try. Don't even try.
Best mush side of town.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's so many different things. I feel like with my auntie, she would always make this tabbouleh and kibbe, so I kind of remember that from her. Uncles, all that stuff. So like, there's certain meals, certain scents, certain smells. My father, that'll always be triggering for me is the music. So like the classic rock stuff, and like him banging his hands on the steering wheel.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, we're gonna die in here, man. Chill out. So I have a lot of triggering things. So this is my type of version of synesthesia. All these things are triggered, then visuals happen. So I see a lot of different things in visuals. So it might not be the colors, but it's a visual representation. And also I have the mirroring part where something happens, I feel it very, very deeply, very harshly. And I walk through people's stories. So as they tell me a story, I walk through it like a movie. So if you're telling me, well, yeah, Nas, I broke up with my girlfriend and then they sent me this text and this and that, right? I'm visualizing me sitting next to you, and you get the text and you see it and you break down, and it leads me down a weird path when it gets into some. I don't mind the violent stuff, but when it gets to some of the assaulty stuff, then it really hurts me. So that's sketchy. That's why I try to lighten my caseload to make sure that I don't have too many trauma cases throughout in one day, and I can spread it out.
Right.
Because if that does happen, and I take on too much pain, at that point of time, I'll feel like we just did a pod that just released on Monday, the 13th of March, on Killmonger. And one of the scenes is where he burns all the herbs, right? The heart-shaped herbs, and then he's just all on fire and sitting there. That's how I feel after the trauma cases. I just hope everything lights on fire and there's no more world.
Oh, wow.
It's intense. Those are the days where I'm like, there's no point to humanity. We're all terrible. And then like someone makes me smile the next day. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Yep. That was an intense emotion.
Oh, never mind. Just kidding.
Yeah. Go to the gas station. I hope you die, mister. Like, what? Tomorrow. Hey, I didn't mean that.
My bad.
Hey, what up, Bobby?
Oh my God.
So those are having more mirroring neurons, as we talked about before on the pod. Folks on the spectrum have 1 to 2 million more neurons, depending on your own genetic code and makeup. But let's get into some of the sensory stuff.
Yes.
So I got some fun stuff with clients. We talked about sensitivity to light, sound, touch. Some people it's the clothing or tags. Some people it's going to be the smells and different picking up different things. They have to have things more bland. Could be the textures. Could be that. I've had some people with hypo and hypersensitivity with pain. So you got someone that can take a little bloop and they're going to freak out because they don't like being touched. Like little Tara, going to freak out.
Yeah.
And then you take one of my humans that actually was riding his bike and got hit by a car. Completely fine. They take him to go get an x-ray because he was walking funny. A month later, he had a fractured ankle. It's like, how the fuck do you not know you had a fractured ankle, kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that? Tickles.
Yeah. What was that? I got some like one of our homies named Tara that can withstand extreme cold temperatures, but they overheat really quickly. And when they overheat, they start to deregulate. Me as well. When I start to get hot when I don't want to be, start to deregulate, start to get real antsy, real nervous.
Right.
That's true for a lot of people. As they get hotter, they get more nervous. But then I get some people that I've had that were neurodivergent, and they would sit in the waiting room. And at St. Mary's, there was the heaters run on the ceiling, and it was like electric thing that would blow on the ceiling in our offices and air conditioners. And they sat right under it, and the heat was on them. By the time they got to my office, they were welts, rash. It was like a rash.
Wow.
It was intense. I'm like, damn, homie, do we need to go to the hospital? She said, what's wrong? Like, well, you look like you got something. I don't know what's I'm about to put one of them blankets on you because you ain't spreading that shit in my office. Where my hazmat suit at?
Oh my God.
I'm about to beat you with that Rafiki stick. Put out the fire. It was bad, bro. I felt so bad for her. And she's like, no, it's fine. We can continue. I'm like, you look like you're about to start bleeding. It's bad. Hypersensitivity to heat. Or hyposensitivity as some folks. It just really depends. We could also talk about that with emotions. So we got some folks that are very stoic, reserved, a man of a few words like Colin. And then you got others that are bouncing over the walls and freaking out and love tons of stimulation, right? And so there's hyper activity, and then there's the more hypo and reclusive, more hermit based. Colin told me on Saturday. He said, "Yeah, man, we gotta go to this damn birthday party." I'm like, "You gotta go to a birthday party?"
What nerd.
yeah. He's like, "I hate this." And his wife is sitting right there. She's like, "We're going."
Yeah.
And then he sends me a picture, and it's him wearing like a hat, a chicken hat with like the chicken rooster thing. It looked like a penis on his head. And he goes, "This is what I have to look forward to in my life. Kill me now."
Yep. Little baby's gonna be having some chicken hats.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I'm like, "Are y'all working at a Churchy's Chicken? Why you got these on?"
Let's go to KFC for the birthday party. What? Why?
Yep.
Why?
But yeah, there's some folks that are going to be on either sides of the spectrum, right? So let's say that there's two poles, two polar opposites. Then the rest of us are going to fall somewhere in between there, right? So it's a spectrum. I got some folks that'll come into the office and are very articulate with what they think and feel, very detailed. I got some folks that come into the office, but yeah, I'm anxious. "Oh, okay, tell me why you're anxious." "Well, I got this, this, and that." I said, "That sounds like normal thinking, bro." And we just kind of sit there looking at each other. I'm like, "You're going to have to give me more details. How am I going to help you?" "Well, I got social anxiety." "Okay, and then what is social anxiety to you?" "Well, I just don't feel right." I'm like, "All right, brother." So let's start talking. Let's back up and talk about emotions, thoughts, and feelings, behaviors. So I have to lead some people to water. Some people can't talk at all, and I just have them write it down in a journal, and then I kind of just read that. I've had Zoom sessions where they just type and I talk. Just depends on what your communication is. Spencer, you know the old story when the mother called me a drug dealer for letting her son play with his Pokemon book in my office. Whatever you got to do to regulate and to communicate, it's not that you can't communicate. All communication is communication. Whether it's nonverbal, it's all communication. So in the therapist's office, we're really good at picking it out. You get the wrong therapist, though, they're going to diagnose you with some weird shit.
Right.
They're going to think that you're fucking crazy. I got a human I'm working with. I think most people would be scared. And they are the sweetest thing. They gave me a tea the other day. They just came up, walked right up to me. I asked a few questions. They barely even said anything. Then they just gave me a tea. And then I was like, "Okay, you can take off now." And they just walked away. It was so awkward. I knew they were on the spectrum. And then after that interaction, I'm like, "Yup.
Got him.
Got him."
We got another one.
Yep. Here's another thing is a lot of folks on the spectrum will report not wanting to leave the house. And it's not just because of social anxiety, it's because all the preparation it takes to leave the house. You got to do this, you got to get clothes on, then you got to go to the grocery store, you got to get in the car, then you got to deal with all these people, then you got to pick all the items. It's a lot of shit to think of. So when they don't have to leave the house, it's nice. Some folks could be hypersexual, some folks could be hyposexual. It just depends on where you are in that spectrum. The sensitivities, the touch, the emotions. There's just a lot that goes into being neurodivergent. I think most people are like, "Oh, you're good with numbers and then you can't like emote and you don't make eye contact." Well, no, jackass.
A lot
No.
more to it.
Yeah, read a fucking book.
No.
No, why would they do that? Because like they're the educated doctors. Like medical doctors. So let's bring it back to synesthesia. Like I said, we all have different ways on perceiving the world. And so I want people to make sure that they know that if they do perceive the world differently, that they are not weird. But if you don't tell anyone these things, you're probably just going to think that you're normal. Most of my clients are like, "Oh, yeah, I thought this was normal, that everyone saw like letters and colors." Nope.
Sorry to burst that bubble.
Yep. Have you tried smoking weed? What happens?
Ah,
Yeah.
ah.
And so that's the thing though, is most people think that they're normal. And thus when they start talking to a therapist or I start asking deeper questions, it's like, oh yeah, it's normal, right? I'm like, it's not fucking normal at all.
You're a fucking weirdo, bro.
Jesus Christ.
My therapist. Well, calm down,
Yeah.
brother. God dang.
Yeah. Are you from Platoon 99? Like, what's wrong with you?
Platoon 99?
I don't know. What Bad Batch? What are they
kind
called?
of reference was that?
Bad Batch. They're Platoon 99. There's something 99.
You're such a nerd. Shut up. Just shut up.
I'm just saying, they're all autistic in Batch 9. The Bad Batch,
Get
they're all
back in your nerd hole, you fucking nerd. There he goes.
My head's too fat to fit in the shirt.
Unbutton a button.
I want to say something funny that happened in group therapy, but I can't because it's like super inappropriate.
All right. Well,
Yeah. But yeah,
right,
so
we're never inappropriate here.
Yeah, this is like way outside.
Oh.
It was very funny. I think that's most of the things that I wanted to touch on is normalizing some things, checking out what your sensitivities are, knowing to collect some data on what they are, maybe to cross-reference and reality check with someone else, so that way you can stop being overstimulated, and maybe that'll lead to less depressive thoughts, less camouflaging, less social isolation. Maybe that will lead to less suicidal thoughts and self-harming, and whatever that may be. You'd be surprised what happens when you actually can take control of like your life and your stimulation stuff. Mm-hmm. But if it's just pure synesthesia, then that's probably not going to overstimulate. That's all like fun stuff, and that's just different creative pathways. But I just thought it would be cool to finally bring up a lot of autism-related things in the pod and kind of dive in deeper into what it could mean. Like I could talk about all the mental health things, but autism is more than just OCD, ADHD, borderline, schizophrenic, bipolar, eating disorder issues. It's more than all that. It's more than just some of my students that only wear black clothes or like only like the texture and taste of like chicken nuggets and processed food, because that is the thing, more processed food palates, especially when they're younger. And then as they get older, now they experience things. There's a lot of particularness. I feel like that's a word.
Particularness?
I'll look that up later. We're going to put that on a shirt. I'm going to steal that. Underdog, put that on a shirt.
On a t-shirt, you jackass.
Well, it could be copyrighted, so put it on the shirt.
Put it on the shirt. Put it on the clothing part.
Yeah, put it on the yoga pant. All right. Spence, did you have any thoughts or questions or input on any of these sensitivity things, particularness, any of the hypo stuff?
I guess just how do you really, like what are your usual tests on how you would see on like a professional like setting how somebody's sensitivity is? Do you just ask them, or do you kind of do some type of test to kind of see like, are you this sensitive to this?
So there could be some tests. I feel like those would be a little intrusive because then you're going to like freak them out in your office. But I do subtly do that because sometimes I will agitate people or push people into a direction to see on how much they can take, and then I'll pull back. Or I'll talk about after I see people in my office like twitching or fidgeting or moving, right? I'll let it go for a while, and then I'll collect the data, and then I'll bring it up, and then they'll just stop doing it. And like just to be dead fucking still for like 3 weeks. I'm like, so you just don't fidget anymore, huh?
I know what you are, don't you? You're a fidgeter.
Yeah. Well, I got some folks with tics, right? So tics are very common. Tourette syndrome, very common in autism. I have some verbal tics. I have some facial tics. As soon as I said it, I had to do it. Adjust my jaw.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I remember yours. You also go like,
yeah. Well, as my eyes hurt too, like when I'm looking at people and shit. But yeah, like I got some tics. Slim's definitely got a bunch of different verbal and facial tics. Some folks do it more when they're excited. And so if we're talking about a certain topic and I see that they're getting excited, do I see that it spikes? Or was it when they're anxious? Is it when they're just listening? So I was breaking all this down with someone the other day. they started doing this intense blinking, but it was
Uh-huh.
only when they were listening to me. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Are you blinking because you're just listening and you're not camouflaging? Or are you blinking because I'm overstimulating you? Or are you blinking because you're processing in your mind? And they're like, what's the difference? I'm like, God damn it, I can't really explain the difference. Just pick one.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, I'll front out just ask you. Sensitivity to clothing, touch, sound, light, taste, texture, smell, candles, like anything make your blood boil, you just feel creepy and weird.
Right.
99% of the time I'm talking to neurotypicals, nope, everything's fine. 99% of the time I'm talking to someone on the spectrum, there's a few things that rub them the wrong way.
Right.
That they just can't take. It just depends. It really just depends. And so I'm just blunt with everything, and I ask. And if they ever ask why am I asking these questions, I'll let them know. I'm screening out for this.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you say that anyone in the spectrum on the families on the spectrum, well, now I have to dig deeper to see what's going on.
Right.
You do have me on this on one thing though. I rarely ask about synesthesia. It's in my checklists that they can highlight, but I rarely actually ask about that. I'll ask about seeing things in pictures or visuals or creativity. I'll ask about that. I had one student where I see everything in visuals, and I said, yeah, so if I said the word fan, what do you see? She said literally the word fan. I was like, okay. And I never got the chance to tell that person that they were on the spectrum either, because they see everything in like words, and they weren't my client, so I thought it was inappropriate to just be like, yo. But they were.
You got the tism.
You got the tism. Oh, they were so awesome. They were so weird, and they were such dark humor, and they would scare all the other white girls at St. Mary's. It was awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Scare them.
Yeah, they would just be like murder, and I'm like, yes.
Do it. I mean,
no,
don't do it. Yes, yes.
Don't do it. But think about
it. Unlimited power.
Yeah. Not you like at the end of that scene on the edit where he's like,
stab.
He's like, eh. Yeah, it's a good scene. So yeah, it just depends, man. There's so many different things that go into it. I feel like it's always best to just ask. The kid's probably not going to tell you the sensitivities because they think it's normal.
Right.
So remember, the point of view is that it's all normal. So why bring that up? What's brought them to your office is they're definitely anxious when they're talking to new humans and initiating conversations. Public spaces, feeling like an idiot, feeling lost, feeling like no one likes them. Those are the common things. Oh my God, man. You want to talk about something funny?
What?
I was talking to a human the other day, and they're talking about their story. And I went like this. And they freaked out. I was like, damn, what's wrong with you, boy? He's like, what do you want me to do? You want me to leave? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, you nodded at the door. I'm like, come on, man. I was saying, like, yeah, it made sense. This meant the thing that you just said. Like, yeah, that makes sense. The thing you just said. Yeah, back there. He thought I told him to get out of the office. He like freaked out.
I mean, let me tell you something. In that moment, I probably would have been like, what the fuck is wrong with him?
That makes sense, yeah.
First of all, you nod like yes, but you're like,
yeah. Well, I said I'm back. Yeah, the thing back. You know, so related to the thing back. He's like, oh, that made sense. He's like, I told you I'm good at social cues. I'm like, no, bro. Just because you've seen me do that does not mean that you connected it to the right thing.
I'll be honest, that cue is terrible. Like that is the word.
In the moment, it made sense.
Back. Who the fuck does that?
I was like just smoking the chicken coop on Friday.
Fucking Will Smith. You're just an alien. Fucking Men in Black.
I'm trying to tell you, it was so funny, man. Though that human, we were talking about his sensitivities towards people not liking him and then not understanding why they don't like him. And so we had to go through and process all these different things and work on skills. There's a lot of different things that go into being on the spectrum. Not everyone is going to have to work on these things. Feeling isolated, feeling alone, feeling misunderstood, and being overstimulated or burned out. Those are some of the most common core themes. So, my advice is always to find other neurodivergent people. I don't know how you do that, but we are like the characters from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. We all just kind of find each other. We're all like stand users. We all find each other.
My God, no one knows that show but you.
Everyone knows that show. It's a popular show.
No one knows that show.
It's very popular.
Everyone in the comments, please say if you know JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, because I have no idea. I watched one clip and I was like, I've never seen this in my life.
I mean, hey, everyone brought it up. My whole time we doing counseling.
Everyone brought it up.
A lot. A lot.
2 people brought it up, and you're like, that's a lot.
A lot. It was a lot. I watched it. Be blunt. Therapists, pay attention to this. Or folks that are talking to a therapist, please ask for them to be blunt and direct. Don't be like someone I know where they said, you look defensive. And then the client came in the next week, like, explain to me in detail why you thought I was defensive. Because they wanted to know. Because you said I was something. I don't know why you said that, so I want to know. And so the counselor got even more frustrated and agitated because they actually had to do their job because you did hurt that person. And so now, but they don't know, right? And they're just trying to learn. They weren't accusing you of something. They were trying to learn and why you perceive them like that. So be direct with your words. If you said that they were defensive, you should have said why they were looking defensive. Was it their posture? Was it their face? Was it their stoicism? Was there inability to communicate? Was it they were taking too long? What was it? And so eventually the counselor's like, yeah, now as they were on the spectrum, was like, well, no shit. They're like, I can't help the kid. I'm like, why can't you help the kid? Just fucking listen to him.
Maybe do your job.
I'm making big eyes. Like, yes.
Yeah, for those on the podcast, the silence was us widening our eyes.
Yeah.
Being like, duh, fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Scary times weird. On the podcast right now.
I know. So sexy. Yeah. Not that common of a thing, synesthesia, but it is a thing. Another fun word. What we already talked about many times, alexithymia. It's a thing. So it's the inability to identify emotions and connect them. A lot of folks neurodivergent, tough time with that. My men, tough time with that. There's the one thing when people don't like when people are chewing. I think it's called like mesophonia or something like that. Or
like chewing?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that freak out when they hear people chewing.
Let me tell you a story real quick. I was working at the Nike factory in Egan, and I was in the break room. I was new or whatever. There's a guy on break with me. He ordered Chipotle, and he ordered so much sour cream on that fucking burrito bowl. And I'll tell you why I knew there was so much sour cream. Because every time he chewed, it was...
I can't hear it.
It was literally that.
Yeah.
Just sour cream sticking to his tongue and hitting the top of the roof of his mouth. It was disgusting. It was the worst. And I was just sitting there like, I'm on my break and I want to die. I don't want to be here anymore because he just ruined everything. He ruined my whole day with it.
Yeah. So some people it's like drives them crazy, like nuts. It's mesophonia. So Colin's wife has that. But Colin, I guess he eats pretty loud. I never really noticed things like this, but I guess it's like really intense. Like if you listen to it, I guess it's because he eats with his mouth open. It's like,
Jesus.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
It's intense. It's like me eating soup or spaghetti. It's intense.
Yeah, you go.
Soup. It's just straight slurping. Yeah. So that's the thing. People get freaked out about that, or tapping, or people breathing, like breathing hard.
Stop breathing.
Here's a funny story. So I took this new medication on Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday night. So my dad's like, yeah, you were asleep pretty good, huh? He said it this morning. I was like, yeah. He's like, you're sleeping real good, huh? I was like, this is getting fucking weird. He's like, I literally walked in your room at like 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, just to make sure you weren't dead, because you're usually moving around. And he's like, you were just unconscious. And I was like, yeah, I was actually slept really good tonight for the first time in like a long time. Oh, today's Monday. So yesterday. I was like, yeah. I was knocked out. He's like, actually, I got scared. You weren't breathing. Then I got closer. Then I heard you wheezing. I was like,
Oh my god.
I do got to wheeze. I can't breathe at all. It's a fat man wheeze.
Oh, that one. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a difference. It's not you when
it's
your
better
neck
than
was.
choking to death.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have
Thanks
slept
for
like
flipping
that.
me, by the way. Piece of shit.
I
Never
didn't want to
forgive you
wake
for
up
that.
and me just being hovering over you.
You're right. Why would you save my life? That'd be stupid. That'd be really dumb. Yeah.
Get your shoe collection.
Thanks. He wanted me to have his shoes.
He did. He told me
They
on
don't
the
even
box.
fit, you fucking piece of shit.
This is proof. Y'all heard
That
this.
size 13 shoes. Yeah, real proof.
Yeah, I'll just sell them.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Appreciate that. In my memory.
You're good.
I'm going to count this money in your memory.
Yep. As I eat, I'll pay my respects to you in chicken and lo mein and fried rice.
Thank you. My mom will appreciate that very
Yeah,
much.
okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Any other questions you got for me, boss?
I guess it's just so in the movie,
Let's go.
Remy's brother, he conforms more to like the pact instead of kind of seeing how Remy sees it, right? So, and that's obviously that's a tough thing to do. You can't just do that because Remy was like born with it or whatever. So,
Correct.
for those who have autism and they kind of conform to, how do you see more people with autism, even though they might be like conforming to certain things? Maybe they do have autism, or maybe they have like severe autism, but they kind of conform to things a little bit more than others. So how do you kind of spot that?
So depends on what you're asking here. So sometimes it's hard for me to catch students that are neurodivergent because they're very good at camouflaging. That's usually gendered. It's usually my young women. And studies don't really know, is it testosterone that's causing that? Like, is it because the years of like camouflaging and the years of adapting? Or is it a higher intelligence? Hey, could be. But sometimes it is hard. And so some individuals where I have to do like an in-depth search into the ways that their brain interprets everything, even the screeners. It can be exhausting sometimes before I actually like, this is a thing. I have to collect data on the parents. Now, if the mom or dad, right, bio mom, bio dad, if they were neurodivergent or if they have any spectrum of things, OCD, bipolar, schizophrenia in the family and the lineage, well, now I know. I can also look at their jobs. What are their jobs? What are any addictions, any medicines that they were on or siblings on, any disabilities within the family? So if I'm not sure, then I have to do like a family assessment through my person's viewpoint. But the thing is, a lot of my neurodivergent kids are like, yeah, they're normal. I'm like, so you're not normal.
How did this happen?
So I assume something's going on. A lot of it is, it's really hard to explain how I do it sometimes. It's speech patterns, mannerisms, cadence, the stare. When they question human behavior, when they question life, like their life, they question the world. I can tell someone was on the spectrum today when I took a phone call. Within a few minutes, I'm like, you're on the spectrum. Like this is 100% autism. A lot of it just comes down to the feeling and the vibe. You can't diagnose things off of a vibe. Yes, I get that, people. But I've been around people on the spectrum my entire life. And my spectrar is pretty good. Spectar. Aspidar. That don't sound good. I was going to say Aspie. Aspidar. Asperger.
Oh my God. All right.
No.
Jesus.
We're going to have to workshop this.
Yeah, do we? Do we?
My tismdar? Dartism?
Tismdar. Jesus. So stupid. That's
Yeah. Let me get away from dar. Right? I can't mix anything with dar.
Get away from all of the words. Just get away from all of them.
Okay.
All right.
As I was saying this, I was picturing a cop taking the speed of things. Like an autistic person walking by. But yes, sometimes it's hard to pick out.
Tism.
It's like during those COVID screenings when they're doing the temperature check.
Yep, you're positive for the tism.
Dude.
Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to step back over here.
Yeah, I don't know who I'm gonna sue. I'll call him. So, where's Al Sharpton that motherfucker?
Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to stop looking me in the eyes.
I don't know. COVID gave you autism. There you go. One of my clients, I love her to death. She talks so much shit. She's awesome. And she comes in there. She's like, yeah, well, I took a Tylenol. Guess I'm getting autism today. I was like, what the fuck? Because it's like one of the old sayings: if the woman is pregnant, they take like Tylenol or Benadryl, like their kid will get autism. It's an old myth.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a old misinformation, horrible thing.
Wow. So
like,
so much medication gives autism. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's so many fake things about flu shots and all that shit, and vaccines. It's like they've all been disproven. It's hilarious. And she just walks in my office. She's like, I took 2 Tylenols today. Guess who has autism? And I was like, shut the fuck up.
I got it.
I got it. It's hilarious, man. So yeah, it's really hard to parse out. Sometimes it comes down to the vibe. I feel crazy because I'm like, that kid's got some neurodivergence for sure. And the other people are like, you're an idiot. With the camouflaging,
Right.
with the intelligence and the anxiety, it helps people act more normal because they learn the code. I got one boy. You would only know he's neurodivergent after you dove into some of the anxieties and OCDs. But he's like, yeah, literally, I stayed up all night thinking about the question that I would ask you. I'm like, the fuck would you ask me questions for? Like, yeah, like, how's your day, Mr. Zerka, and this and that. I'm like, okay. My day's
Mr.
fine.
Zerka's my father.
Yeah. Mrs. Zerka be my pep.
My pep.
Yeah. So, the more conversations you have, you can see the neurodivergence in their thought processing, in their experiences, in the way that they interpret the world, such as synesthesia. So synesthesia does not mean you're on spectrum, but many folks on the spectrum do have that. And so that is just one data point to help you get to a diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start adding up all these fucking data points. And you're like, holy shit, this is the only thing that makes sense. How can you have all these data points? Well, they could just have all these data points now and not be on the spectrum. No, they're probably on the spectrum. Thus, that's why they have all those data points.
There you go.
But people are scared to diagnose them with autism because if they have autism, then they're quote unquote the R word. That's why people are so scared of it, because they're scared that it's a disabling and labeling stereotype. It's a horrible thing. Right. The word autism is scary. Neurodivergent, not as scary. My students will go talk to the parents about it. The parents will be like, holy shit, I think I'm on the spectrum. And then the siblings will get diagnosed. Neurodivergent, that word, it works. You say autism. My son ain't got that. Motherfucker, you got it too.
Damn.
What a thermometer I had. Tism.
I got it. Yep. Tism. Full on tism.
This is one human at work that just collects like rotary phones. I was like, tism.
For what? What? Just for fun?
Yeah, that's their hobby. They're collecting old school phones.
Enough.
Yeah,
I collect shoes. They collect phones that don't work anymore.
Yep. I mean, they're on the spectrum for many other different reasons. Watching the phones. No, that's one of them. That's one of their hyperfixations. Just their people skills. I can see it. It's just a little off. A lot of the different things, and them trying to communicate properly. But it's not my place to tell them. So,
yeah,
I'm out of gas, homie. That's it.
Yep. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tism. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. We really appreciate it. After he's done shooting the tism gun, please subscribe down below.
Please subscribe.
Visit our new website, differentspectrumspod.com. It's in the link tree. Also, check out our merch. Buy it. And if you have any ideas of what we should be covering next for our videos, let us know down below. Oh, and down below, please let us know, what gets your mind going when you eat? What foods get you going, right? What's your comfort food? Let's go with that.
What's your comfort food? What's your most triggering food in a good way for good memories, good
Yeah,
thoughts? Yeah,
let's
so
go
let's
with
stick
that.
with food with this. And if you want to
Yes.
tell us about some sensitivities and how you hate your father's mush, that sounded weird.
That sounded terrible. Okay, folks, I'm Spencer. That's Nazir. This is the Different Spectrums podcast.
Ah,
My
mush.
father's mush. So hairy.
Oh. Oh. All right, much love, everyone. Peace.